The most expensive single building ever constructed by a private company in American history is not a skyscraper in Manhattan, not a technology campus in Silicon Valley, not a manufacturing facility in the industrial Midwest. It is a nuclear power plant in Waynesboro, Georgia that cost $35 billion, took 14 years to build, went 150% over its original $14 billion budget, and generated enough political and financial controversy to reshape how every energy company in America thinks about nuclear investment. And the company that built it, Georgia Power, a subsidiary of Southern Company, did not walk away, did not declare bankruptcy, did not hand the project to the federal government. It finished because it understood something about nuclear economics that the headlines about cost overruns never capture. That the thing you are building, when you build a nuclear power plant, is not a building. It is a 60-year annuity that will generate revenue every hour of every day for 6 decades, while producing almost zero carbon emissions, and requiring no fuel from any foreign nation. And today I'm going to decode the complete economics of owning the world's largest nuclear power plant, the Kashiwazaki-Kariwa station in Japan, and show you why the economics of nuclear power, which looked impossible a decade ago, are now driving the most significant energy investment decisions in the history of American technology, the Kashiwazaki-Kariwa economics. Here is the plant that holds the title of world's largest nuclear power station by installed capacity, and whose economics tell one of the most dramatic financial stories in the history of global energy. Kashiwazaki-Kariwa Nuclear Power Station, located in Niigata Prefecture on the coast of Japan, is owned and operated by Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO, and consists of 7 reactors with a combined installed capacity of 8,212 megawatts, making it the most powerful nuclear generating station ever built. When all 7 reactors are operating at full capacity, Kashiwazaki-Kariwa generates approximately 61 billion kilowatt hours of electricity per year, enough to power approximately 17 million Japanese homes. At Japanese electricity prices, the annual gross revenue of a fully operational Kashiwazaki-Kariwa is approximately $7 to $9 billion, against annual operating costs of approximately $1.5 to $2 billion, producing annual operating profits of approximately $5 to $7 billion, from a plant that originally cost approximately $4.2 billion to build between 1985 and 1997. The return on that original construction investment for a fully operational Kashiwazaki-Kariwa would be among the highest in the history of energy infrastructure, except for one catastrophic event that changed everything, the Fukushima factor. Here is the economic disaster that explains why the world's most powerful nuclear generating station has been sitting substantially idle since 2012, and why TEPCO, its owner, has been financially devastated for more than a decade. On March 11, 2011, a magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off the coast of Japan, generating a tsunami that overwhelmed the seawalls of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, also owned by TEPCO, approximately 230 kilometers from Kashiwazaki-Kariwa. 3 of Fukushima Daiichi's 6 reactors melted down, in what became the most serious nuclear accident since Chernobyl. And what made the economic consequences for Kashiwazaki-Kariwa so devastating is that this plant had nothing to do with the Fukushima accident. It was operating safely and contributing billions in revenue to TEPCO. But in the aftermath of Fukushima, the Japanese government ordered all nuclear plants in Japan to shut down pending comprehensive safety reviews. And Kashiwazaki-Kariwa, the world's largest nuclear plant, and TEPCO's primary revenue-generating asset, went offline. The economic consequences were immediate and catastrophic. TEPCO lost approximately $5 to $7 billion in annual revenue from Kashiwazaki-Kariwa alone, while simultaneously facing cleanup costs at Fukushima Daiichi that have now exceeded $22 billion, and are projected to ultimately reach $60 to $80 billion before the site is fully decommissioned in the 2050s. TEPCO was effectively nationalized, the Japanese government injecting trillions of yen to prevent its collapse, and Kashiwazaki-Kariwa, theoretically worth tens of billions of dollars as an operating asset, became a stranded asset, generating no revenue, while incurring maintenance costs, safety upgrade costs estimated at $1 to $3 billion per reactor, and regulatory compliance costs that have extended the restart process by more than a decade, the construction cost economics that determine everything. Here is the fundamental economic reality that makes nuclear power simultaneously the most attractive and most terrifying energy investment available to any private company. Construction cost overruns are not an anomaly in nuclear economics. They are the norm. The original cost estimate for Vogtle units 3 and 4 in Georgia was $14 billion. The final cost was $35 billion. The original completion date was 2016 and 2017. The actual completion dates were 2023 and 2024. The reasons for this pattern, which has repeated in virtually every recent Western nuclear construction project, are interconnected and mutually reinforcing. The nuclear construction workforce in the United States had effectively ceased to exist as a skilled trade, because no new nuclear plant had been ordered since 1978. Rebuilding that workforce, while simultaneously trying to build a nuclear plant, is extraordinarily expensive and creates cascading schedule delays. The safety standards and regulatory requirements for nuclear construction are more demanding than for any other industrial construction project, because the consequences of structural failure are categorically different from other buildings. And the regulatory inspection process, which pauses construction while inspectors verify compliance at every stage, is thorough and slow in ways that add cost at every phase. And the supply chain for nuclear-grade components, pressure vessels, reactor coolant pumps, steam generators, is extremely constrained, with very few manufacturers globally capable of producing the required components to the required specifications, creating bottlenecks that cannot be resolved by spending more money. The revenue model that justifies the cost. Here is why Georgia Power's shareholders and ratepayers endured 14 years and $35 billion of construction, and why the plant is now being celebrated rather than condemned as a financial catastrophe. Vogtle units 3 and 4 together generate approximately 20 billion kilowatt hours of electricity per year, at the power purchase agreement rates that Georgia Power has negotiated with industrial customers, approximately $90 to $110 per megawatt hour. The annual gross revenue is approximately $1.8 to $2.2 billion, and at a fuel cost of essentially zero, because the uranium fuel is purchased in advance and the price volatility of uranium does not approach the volatility of natural gas. The annual operating cost of approximately $300 to $500 million produce an operating margin of approximately 70 to 75% on a $35 billion investment, generating approximately $1.5 billion of annual operating income. The plant will pay back its construction cost in approximately 22 to 25 years, and then generate pure profit with essentially zero fuel cost and essentially zero carbon emissions for the remaining 35 years of its 60-year design life. The AI nuclear renaissance that changes everything. Here is the economic development that is transforming nuclear power from a stranded asset class into the most sought-after energy infrastructure in the world. And that connects the economics of the world's largest nuclear plant directly to the technology companies that are reshaping the global economy. Artificial intelligence requires electricity at a scale and reliability that no renewable energy source can currently match. A data center running large language models at full capacity consumes electricity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, without interruption. Solar panels do not generate electricity at night. Wind turbines do not generate electricity when the wind does not blow. Batteries of the scale required to bridge those gaps do not yet exist at commercially viable cost. Nuclear power plants generate electricity 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, at capacity factors of approximately 90 to 92%, with no weather dependency and no fuel supply chain vulnerability from any foreign nation. And the technology companies that need that electricity understand exactly what it is worth to them. Microsoft signed a 20-year power purchase agreement with Constellation Energy in 2023 to restart the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant, specifically to power its artificial intelligence data centers. Google signed agreements to purchase nuclear power from Kairos Power's Advanced Reactor Program. Amazon purchased a nuclear-powered data center campus from Talon Energy in Pennsylvania, and the prices they are paying, approximately $80 to $120 per megawatt hour, are approximately double the market rate for electricity, because the reliability premium, the guarantee that power will be available every hour of every day regardless of weather or geopolitical events, is worth double the market price to companies whose entire business model depends on uninterrupted computing power. This AI-driven nuclear premium is transforming the economics of every nuclear plant in operation, and is creating the financial incentive for new nuclear construction that has not existed in America since the 1970s. The decommissioning economics that never go away. Here's the financial liability that every nuclear power plant creates the moment it begins operating, and that must be funded continuously throughout the plant's operational life. Nuclear reactor decommissioning. The process of safely dismantling a nuclear plant at the end of its operational life, removing all radioactive material, and restoring the site to a condition suitable for other uses. Cost between $500 million and $2 billion per reactor for a plant like Kashiwazaki-Kariwa with 7 reactors. The total decommissioning liability is estimated at between $3.5 and $14 billion. And this cost must be fully funded before the plant can be closed, requiring nuclear operators to contribute to a dedicated decommissioning fund throughout the plant's operational life, at a rate sufficient to accumulate the required funds by the time the plant reaches the end of its service life. In addition to decommissioning costs, the spent nuclear fuel generated by decades of operation must be stored safely, indefinitely. And the United States still does not have an operating permanent repository for high-level nuclear waste, which means the spent fuel from every American nuclear plant, including Vogtle, is being stored on-site in spent fuel pools and dry cask storage at a continuing cost that will persist for centuries. Here is the complete economics of the world's largest nuclear power station. A fully operational Kashiwazaki-Kariwa generates $5 to $7 billion in annual operating profit against an original construction cost of $4.2 billion, a return that would justify almost any level of construction investment. But the plant has been substantially offline since 2012, losing that revenue while TEPCO has been simultaneously managing the most expensive nuclear cleanup in history at a completely different facility. And the economic lesson of Kashiwazaki-Kariwa is not that nuclear power is economically irrational. It is that nuclear power is economically extraordinary when operating, and economically catastrophic when it stops, for reasons that may have nothing to do with the plant itself. Jake looks at his electricity bill, $47 for the month, and thinks about the $35 billion plant in Georgia that generated that electricity, and the $5 to $7 billion per year that Kashiwazaki-Kariwa could generate if it were fully operating, and the 20-year deal that Microsoft signed at double the market electricity price. Because uninterrupted power for artificial intelligence is worth whatever it costs, and realizes that the most important infrastructure in the world is not a chip factory, not a data center, not a satellite network. It is a nuclear power plant that produces the one input that every other system in the modern economy requires. You have been decoded. If this video made you think about energy economics and the nuclear renaissance and your own electricity bill completely differently, subscribe to Money Decoder 3004 every single week. We decode the economics of the systems that power every aspect of American life. Simply, honestly, and clearly. Drop a comment below. Do you think nuclear power is the answer to the AI energy crisis? Or is there a better solution? Tell me below. I read every single comment, and I will see you in the next decode.